Today would have been, the baby involved, Celine, would have been 2 months old, today. And I hope that the individuals involved do not get a second apiece. I hope that the images behind me of the two victims are engraved in their mind.
Martin Arroyo Morales charged with their murders.
She's the one who did this to her own sister. It was very shocked.
This is the story of Yanely Solario Rivera, a young mother to a 3-week-old baby who was shot by one of her siblings due to sibling rivalry and jealousy. She was in bed sleeping with her young daughter in her hands when she was shot. Her baby was still in her hands when they were both discovered. The crime will send shock wave to the whole community where it happened. Hello and welcome to Twisted Crimes. Subscribe and hit the like button for more stories. Based on this case, we will be traveling to Fresno, California, the 5th largest city in California, a city home to 1.8 million acres of the world's most productive farmland. The city is known to be the agricultural capital of the world, mixing its urban living with a small-town vibe. Yanely Solario Rivera was an 18-year-old young mother who lived in Fresno, California. She was from a small family that did everything together. Her sister has almost the same name as her. Her name is Yanely Solario Rivera. They grew up just like every other siblings, but things started changing later in life. Yanely had a newborn baby just weeks prior to this incident. She told her family member and they were all happy for her. They rejoiced and celebrated for the new addition to their family. Her new baby was so beautiful and everyone seems to be happy for Yanely. That was what she thought, due to the amount of love and affection she received from family members. She would have never thought one of her siblings thought it wasn't fair for only her and Celine, her baby, to receive that much attention. Yanely, her elder sister, who was 22 years old, had 2 kids of her own at the time. She and her boyfriend Solario Rivera felt betrayed for not receiving enough love when they had their kids. Now let's fast forward to the day of the incident. On September 24th, Southwest Policing District officers responded to an emergency report of a shooting inside a residence located in the 2500 block of South Fruit Avenue at around 7:20 a.m. Upon arrival, officers found the unresponsive bodies of Yanely Solario Rivera and her baby, Celine. Yanely had been shot multiple times in the house she shared with her 22-year-old sister. They initially thought it was murder-suicide case but soon realized there was no gun present at the crime scene. Police searched the house and realized there was no evidence of forced entry, and coincidentally their home camera also stopped working that day. Plus the family guard dog did not raise any alarm when the intruders came into the house.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for this special edition of Action News. I'm Jessica Harrington. Action News reporter Nick Garcia is live in the newsroom with what police are sharing about the investigation. Nick?
Right, well, detectives still have a lot to work through in this case. They are working with the family to piece together what exactly happened. We talked to family members off camera today. They're understandably heartbroken and in disbelief.
Tragedy off Jensen and Fruit in southwest Fresno. Saturday morning, 18-year-old Yanely Solario Rivera and her newborn baby, Celine Sophia, were shot and killed in their home. Family members say the two were asleep.
There's a lot of work to be done on this case. And again, just a very sad and tragic event. We are working with the family.
Police say around 7:30 a.m., a family called 911 reporting several shots had been fired. When officers arrived, they found young Yanely and her baby dead.
Because this is a very traumatic situation for everybody involved.
Yanely's sisters tell Action News she was full of life and positive energy and loved being a new mom. The infant, not even a month old.
Our first priority is always the criminal investigation, making sure we get this absolutely right. We will take our time and we will leave no stone unturned to make sure we get to the truth of this issue.
Fresno police is not releasing information about a suspect or what may have led up to the shooting at this time, but they are investigating this as a homicide.
It was looking like a cold case, but Fresno police would not give up on the case. On Sunday morning, Fresno police homicide detectives, along with other investigators from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms as well as the FBI, searched the field off Fruit and Church Avenues in southwest Fresno for any evidence. They were able to secure a surveillance video from local businesses around the field. It showed someone suspicious walking away from the scene of the crime just minutes after it happened. So they put out the video for public assistance along with a $25,000 reward. This are the still images of the person who they assume was walking away from the scene of the crime. They were hoping the release of this images will fasten the capture of the perpetrator.
Today is a very important day for us because we want to announce a $25,000 reward for any information leading to the identification and arrest of those involved in the homicides of 18-year-old Yanely Solorio Rivera and Celine Solorio Rivera. Today would have been, the baby involved, Celine, would have been 2 months old today. So I want to recap the incident which occurred on Saturday, September the 24th at about 7:20 a.m. That's when the Fresno Police Department responded to the 2500 block of South Fruit Avenue to a reported call of multiple gunshots. When we arrived, we discovered the 2 victims who had been gunned to death. It is believed that the mother, Yanely, was actually holding the child at the time that they were both murdered. This is very, very high priority for us because it is such a heinous, horrendous crime in our community.
And this case right now is their top priority. They have a few leads, but nothing strong enough to break the case. Now, today, that baby would have turned 2 months old, and police say they know there's someone out there that knows something that can help them get closer to getting justice for this baby and her mother.
I hope that the individuals involved do not get a second apiece. I hope that the images behind me of the 2 victims are engraved in their mind.
The department's top priority. That's how Fresno Police Chief Paco Balderrama describes the case of 18-year-old Yanely Solorio Rivera and her 3-week-old daughter, Celine Solorio Rivera, who were shot and killed in their home on the morning of September 24th. Balderrama saying Yanely was holding her daughter in her arms at the time of the murder.
I do have a couple of things that I want to say to those responsible for this atrocious and heinous murder. Number 1, we're coming for you. Number 2, your days of freedom are numbered.
The department is being helped by the U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, which added $15,000 to the reward for information on the case, making the total reward $25,000.
This one is definitely a bridge too far. As far as young mother, young child, being gunned down the way that they were.
Officials say at least 4 other family members were home when the shooting happened. It was family members outside of the house who called authorities to report shots fired. Balderrama says there were no signs of forced entry and no murder weapon found.
We need the community to get involved. Somebody out there knows something. Somebody knows who did it. People have been talking, and we need that information.
After weeks of putting out the video, there was still no result, so they dug deeper. Upon further interrogation of Yanely, they realized her stories were not matching up. She tried pointing the finger at the baby's father. She was asked where she was during the incident. She told them she was with her friend who they met up with, and she told them Yanely had told her to lie for her, which she could not do. The cops found out she was with her boyfriend when the crime was committed, Martin Arroyo Morales. Arroyo Morales is a verified gang member. He was also charged with having unlawful sex with a minor not too long ago. During a follow-up interview, a family member admitted to police they saw Arroyo Morales run from the garage with a gun after Yanely and Celine were shot. This explained to them who the person in the video was. That is when the lies, deception, and the evil intentions surrounding the case began to unravel. Yanely and Arroyo Morales were detained by police. Initially, Yanely told detectives she was part of the planning but didn't shoot. After telling officers where the gun was hidden, she eventually admitted she was the one who pulled the trigger.
Live at 6.
But you don't expect it from your own sister, and you certainly don't expect it against a 3-week-old child that is sitting there in her mama's arms.
Fresno police blame sibling rivalry and jealousy for the shocking murders of an 18-year-old mother. And thanks for joining us tonight for Action News. I'm Warren Armstrong.
And I'm Margot Kim. Nearly 7 weeks after the deadly shooting, investigators arrested the victim's older sister and that sister's boyfriend. Action News reporter Corin Hoggard shows us how police finally broke this case wide open.
Yanely Solorio Rivera was shot and killed as she slept in her bed, holding her 3-week-old daughter, Celine. The shooter also killed the baby girl. More than 5 weeks later, police had made no arrests, so they released surveillance video of a potential suspect. When investigators identified him, they realized they talked to one of the alleged murderers at the Southwest Fresno home where mother and child were killed. Police say the guy in the surveillance video is Martin Arroyo Morales. His girlfriend is Yareli Solorio Rivera, the 22-year-old sister of Yaneli. Fresno Police Chief Paco Balderrama says the couple cracked under questioning by detectives.
And at which time they confessed to the crime and led detectives to the whereabouts of the murder weapon.
The chief says Solorio Rivera was filled with jealousy towards her little sister. He says Arroyo Morales is a validated gang member. Together, he says they planned the murders and how to get away with them.
This was their plan all along, and they thought it worked until it started unraveling on them.
Police say the couple showed no remorse, even after confessing. Prosecutors say they'll file a double murder case against both suspects, and the charges will include the special circumstances that they committed multiple murders.
Both suspects are in custody with bail set at $2 million. They're expected in court Monday for arraignment.
Yareli told investigators she could no longer live with Yaneli. She told them she was sick of Yaneli and the baby getting all of her parents' attention and her kids were getting none. Arroyo Morales admitted to officers he was there. There was a plan and Yareli gave him the gun after the shooting. Yareli Solorio Rivera, the sister, and her boyfriend, Martin Arroyo Morales, were charged with the murders and made their first court appearance Tuesday morning. Both suspects are being held without bail. If convicted of all charges, both Yareli Solorio Rivera and Martin Arroyo Morales face life without the possibility of parole or the death penalty.
Special circumstances murder brings about the penalty of life without the possibility of parole or the potential of the death penalty.
It was a big shock to family and friends when the police disclosed who they arrested in the killings.
When we found out the news, she's the one who did this to her own sister, it was very shocked.
Those close family friends say jealousy does not justify what happened to Yaneli and Celine.
I just want justice for her, for that little innocent baby that she just had that's not right for what she did.
Family and friends of Yaneli Solorio Rivera held a vigil outside the family's home in Southwest Fresno.
It's hard. They're here today, and tomorrow is another day that they're going to have to deal with. But they can look back and see that she was a loving, caring young woman, and she just recently had a three-week-old baby. We came together and just in the memory of Yaneli brought photos, brought candles, and had a visual to remember her smile, to remember her dimples, and you'll see that through the photos that are being put out, that Yaneli was a happy person, and it's just tragic that she was taken, but we know that we wanted to comfort the family. They just set some balloons out, just as not just a farewell, but just a gesture. As the balloons left, and we just seen it as a comfort.
This was a really twisted crime. Our sincere condolences to the friends and families of Yaneli Solorio Rivera. May Yaneli's memory be a blessing for her family and for all who knew her, and may her life and death be an inspiration and a turning point towards justice and increased protection for gun violence survivors. Please stay safe and see you guys in the next video.